We'll start with the main event. I
Yeah.
guess what kind of made me feel underwhelmed about this was that just as things were starting to get going, the finish just came out of nowhere, and I was like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
really? Okay, we're done here now." And it worked when they did it with Brock and Goldberg because they were so sudden, and they went at such a ferocious pace. And with these guys tonight, they were, I don't know, it was like we watched a house show match on pay-per-view. It was weird. There was nothing like I was not sitting there bored watching these guys wrestle. Like I loved, Braun just like all taking a German suplex and then flipping forward and then all of a sudden in a choke slam and then, hitting power slams on Brock and then Brock pulling out German suplexes and shit. And I still love that stuff. And it was everything we loved about the fatal 4-way match they had a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It just kind of, the match ended. And then Paul Nemmer, owner of Wrestleview, messaged me and said, "Did you see what Brock said when he was walking up the ramp?" And apparently he was, and I went back and I watched it. He was kind of moving his right arm, and he said something to Paul Heyman that he may have messed up his arm, may have done something to it. So I don't know if that's going to screw things up in the coming months, but I don't know. It felt like the match just finished, and I don't know if you had the same reaction to it, where it was just so sudden, like, oh, okay, because it was literally, it was like they were very aware that there was 2 minutes till the top of the hour there where they had to get out, and it was done. It was over.
The finish does not sell me. I mean, at all. I mean, I try to look back on the match, and I'm trying to convince myself to buy it. Like, Braun dealing out the two, power slams, but he's too gassed out to get over to do a quick enough cover, or that, Lesnar dished him out 5 or 6 German suplexes and put him in the Kimura to wear him down. And so I guess one F5 would be the exclamation point, especially when the story that they're telling during the match is Brock is trying his damnedest to get that F5 up, but he just can't. And so third time's the charm. I'm trying to convince myself those are the reasons for the finish of the match, but I'm still not buying it just because of how slow the match was. Okay, it did not start at the frenetic pace that Samoa Joe's match did.
True.
Samoa Joe's match started off at that frenetic pace because he did the blindside attack before the match and put him on the table before the match, and then it was just an all-out just slugfest. There was no method to the match at all. It was just all in all chaos. The Fatal 4-Way, completely different because now you've added 2 other people into the mix, and by God, there was just high spot after high spot after high spot. And yes, Lesnar gets carted off, and he gets to take a breather, comes back, and takes advantage of everyone being gassed. I can get those 2 matches, the endings that they have with Lesnar coming out on top. This one I just can't, and it's not because, it's Braun. Braun's the greatest. Yes, I've been on that soapbox. I'll stand behind that podium. I've been right there in the bandwagon, full speed ahead with Braun. But that's not the reason why I'm saying that I just don't buy this. It's just because of how the match itself was constructed. It was too slow. It was too slow to think that the F5 was just going to be the exclamation point on it. Not when you've dealt 4 finishers to Brock, not when, you stood your ground in the center of the ring, you withstood the Kimura, and, you're still getting up and standing up and everything. I find it very hard to believe that it just took one finisher to take out Braun, when in past matches that he's had with Roman Reigns, John Cena, just to name those 2 recently, and the amount of junk that's thrown up at him, and he still stands up from it and still comes out on top. I find it very, very hard to believe. Okay.